Hi, I here. This is a reading for the sign of Aquarius. We're going to pull two cards from the Thoth deck, and that's going to represent the energy that is surrounding you. What's on the bottom side of that deck is going to be your general energy. We're then going to pull 9 cards from the Huge Tarot deck and see what story unfolds as we flip those over one by one. And the card on the bottom of that deck is going to be the general theme of the reading. Once we get a sense of the story or message that's coming through with all of these cards, we're then going to pull one card from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your unconscious energy. And then we are going to see what is on the underside of the shadow deck to see what you don't see coming. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so today we are tuning into the sign of Aquarius. So let us see what messages come through for the sign of Aquarius. So if that's your sun, your moon, your rising, however you choose to or are currently identifying with the energy of the sign of Aquarius, you can use that to add extra layers or texture to the messages that come through. And if anything that I say or point out does not fit, don't try to force it. With tarot, you should always just take the messages that resonate and leave what does not. And if the general message does not seem to fit, that's okay. You can always check your other placements, or you can just stick around and see what's going on in the world of other Aquarians. All right, so let's see what we get. So let's see what is happening in the world of the sign of Aquarius. Okay, so we will pull 2 cards from here. Okay, that feels right. 1, 2. And your current energy is look at that, the Princess of Wands. So that is the energy of passion, of wanting to just dive in and live just that free. I mean, she's basically looks like she's diving into a river of fire and is just embracing the chaos of that passion and seeing where it's going to take her. So that's great. That's a very, very amazing creative space to be in. Let's see what's surrounding you. The Lust card and the 6 of Wands. So yeah, a lot of intense, powerful energy here. Again, this is sort of reiterating the same kind of idea of what's happening here with the Princess of Wands. This is the idea, and this is what is the Strength card in the traditional Rider-Waite deck. This is, really coming into your own power and using that as a either constructive or creative force to take command of life and the things that are around you. And this is the card of victory. This is the card of going into battle and then coming back with the positive news of I have succeeded in whatever task I set forth to try and accomplish. So this is really nice right here. You're ready to dive into whatever is ahead. You are fueled by the passions of whatever it is that is important to you, and you are fueled also with this energy of victory and trying to conquer whatever tasks or challenges are ahead of you. So really good energy to start with. Let's see what is then going to come through with the Huge deck. So this is the first tarot deck I ever bought. I got this back long before I had any idea how to understand or read tarot at all. And I bought this at a voodoo shop in New Orleans. Again, I didn't have any idea how to use it. I just really liked the different pictures that were on the card. It seemed very mysterious to me at the time. And I still use this occasionally. I'm using it now for these readings because it's based on the standard Rider-Waite deck, but the art is just a little bit different, so it has a little bit of a different mood to it. Okay. So we're going to pull 9 cards face down. And we'll turn those over little by little to see the context for you being in this energy of the Princess of Wands. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And the theme of the reading is the Five of Wands, conflict. So it's nice that we have victory. So we come out of the 5 victorious. And I think this is probably fueled by whatever it is that you are passionate about. So there is trouble here. There's something that has to be risen above, but you've got the energy, or you are at least approaching a place where you have the energy to be able to rise above this conflict, victorious and passionate about the things you have done or learned along the way. So let's see what we get in our story. Well, that's nice. We begin with the Fool. So we begin with an open mind, an ignorance, a blissful ignorance of what is ahead. It's not clear what kind of issues we're going to have to face, though this is a story about overcoming conflicting either passions or different people with different voices and opinions or different goals that are trying to accomplish. But you're moving into this with a nice clean slate of a positive naivety to whatever is going to be the issues ahead. So let's see what our Fool is going to encounter as he goes through this journey. Okay, so we have the King of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles can be either seen as a card of change, or a card of balance, or maybe really both of these at the same time, sort of, coming into new opportunities or new situations and trying to bring into alignment the different requirements of juggling these different tasks. So I think you as the Fool have walked into some situation where there are new things that have to be taken care of, new opportunities or issues that you are going to have to deal with. And so the Fool is trying to learn how to juggle all of these tasks at one time. And what seems to be in conflict with the Fool, or someone that is maybe possibly watching from the side, is the King of Swords. Sometimes the King of Swords can be kind of a cold, logical voice of reason that is, he's going to tell it like it is. So perhaps as you're trying to get through whatever these situations are and juggling these different tasks that have been presented to you, there might be someone in the vicinity who is sitting there sort of critiquing what you're doing and maybe passing some level of judgment on the quality with which you were doing that task. And so maybe this is what is sort of attacking this nice childlike Fool energy, is someone who is trying to impose some sort of order, or at least order as they see it, upon this current situation. And you're just sitting there trying to sort of juggle the task and get things accomplished and just be done with what you need to be done with. But then the wheel turns. Something happens. Either this person who is the King of Swords or some other situation is then going to affect what is happening as these events are unfolding, and a new stage of the story is going to be opened. Perhaps maybe while you were juggling things, something was overlooked, or maybe you were I think here with the Eight of Swords, I think perhaps as you were trying to juggle these new opportunities that were being presented to you, you were perhaps put in a position, likely by this person who is the King of Swords, of feeling like you're sort of trapped. So you're trying to juggle all of these different things and figure out how to, move forward in whatever it is that you're working on, to the point of feeling like you were imprisoned or encaged by all of these duties. Now, it's not that you really are. This is a mental cage, so perhaps this person who is the King of Swords is convincing you that you have all these things you need to do, and you're feeling kind of stuck and unable to get away from them, which is actually... I actually kind of think then that maybe what's happening here is you are blinded by this newer opportunity that's better than what you're trying to juggle. So you're the Fool in this situation, and the King is trying to sort of trick you into doing his bidding. You're juggling those tasks as best as you can, but the King is slowly convincing you that this is the way things have to be and there's no other way to do them. And so now you are trying to approach a level of growth beyond what you are currently in. A newer, larger opportunity is possibly being given to you, and you're either unable to reach out and take that opportunity, or you're being sabotaged in your ability to be able to reach that opportunity. Again, by whoever this King of Swords is, that is likely playing some kind of mental trickery on you. But in the middle of everything is the Nine of Cups, the card of happiness and joy. So perhaps there is, in some sense, a bit of pleasure in being able to know that you can accomplish the things that are being put in front of you. You have this sort of innocence of the fool. That doesn't mean that you are a stupid or like this is not a negative thing to be the fool. It's a very positive sort of freedom. But in that freedom is the lack of awareness of this caging that is keeping you from this joy that can be gotten from this opportunity, and instead you're sitting in the joy that is maybe what is happening from within this prison. So although you are in a very happy place, it could be the case that there is a greater happiness, a 10 of cups waiting beyond this 9 of cups, an emotional completion as opposed to just the joys of pleasure, of enjoying the current situation. There might be something more that's lurking outside the cage if you could just take that blindfold off and see that you could do something even bigger than what you're currently doing. And I think this is the conflict that is happening here, is you in conflict with whoever this is that's trying to trap you in. Ace of Swords and the Three of Wands. So this is clarity. So perhaps at some point, even though you're in this joyful stage of being stuck in the center, I feel like this is you in the middle of this cage. You have the joy and the pleasure that is within your environment. But again, I feel like there's something larger outside of that that you need to get to. And this Ace of Swords is a moment of clarity where you realize that you are, in fact, stuck inside a prison that is not necessarily a bad prison. I mean, there are animals at the zoo that are taken care of and they live very, nice, comfortable lives, but perhaps they could still be happier outside of that cage were they able to break out of it. And so I think this is the realization that you are in fact in a cage and that you can get even more joy than you are currently getting by approaching new opportunities outside of that. And once you have this moment of clarity, it's like a fuse has been lit, and now it's like a ticking time bomb of how long before you realize that this is not a sustainable place to stay, that there's something greater beyond this that you can get to. And it's already, the wheel has already started for whatever this new opportunity is. It's just a matter of you picking up from whatever choices you make as you try to escape the situation you are in currently, and seeing how things are going to unfold little by little as the wheels have already started turning. You see what is going to happen next. It's just a matter of now taking the action of actually implementing and going through with whatever is going to be next. So maybe you realize that you need to get out of this place, and that's what has led you to this period of, okay, I'm going to step through this gateway, then I'm going to take this blindfold off, armed with this new insight that is this sword. I'm going to now move through this gate, through this journey of figuring out what the next thing is going to be. So let's see what the next thing is going to be. Two of Swords. Indecision. You don't know. So I think what is happening here is you're in a situation where you feel trapped, but you've felt sort of okay being in this trapped situation. You feel a 9 of cups, cloud 9, kind of joy, and there's a sort of simplicity that is represented by the Fool, but you realize there are bigger opportunities, and once you realize there are bigger opportunities, there's really no turning back. You cannot sit in the place that you were before and go back to feeling like everything is just okay. It's, again, once you realize that you're in a cage, the cage never feels quite as comfortable anymore. But then once you leave the cage, then there's the question of, where do I go? What do I do? How do I figure out how to navigate away from this? If this is the thing that you've known and this is the thing that is comfortable to you, what lies ahead? Now, I think, though, here with this Princess of Wands representing your general energy, is that even though it might seem like a scary thing to be in this place of where do we go next, I don't know what's happening. She's holding those two swords. She's ready for anything, but hasn't quite decided what she's going to do. That comes with it, underneath it, a sort of excitement for the unknown. So again, you're leaving something that is comfortable and happy, but you're moving into an unknown place that, although scary, is exciting. I mean, this is an intense picture. I mean, this is a woman flying through flames with a tiger attached to her. I mean, that's intense. There's a lot of scary things, intense things happening there, but it's exciting at the same time. And so I think as you're going through this process of moving into escaping whatever situation you're currently in, you are fueled by a sense of victory because really what this Ace of Swords, this insight that it brought to you was the realization that even though things are good where they are, they can be even better elsewhere. And so you're going to be fueled by a sense of, I know I can reach better heights. And so your excitement and your lust for whatever next adventure is going to be in front of you is what puts you in this Princess of Wands energy of, again, it feels kind of like the same sort of simplicity of the Fool of like, I don't know that I have a plan, but I got to do something else kind of energy. And sort of giving yourself to whatever that energy is to rise above the conflicts that have been keeping you caged in this whole time. So yeah, I think that's a pretty positive way to look at this whatever this situation is for you. Again, it feels like you're stuck, but the cage has now been broken open, and you are in the process of seeing where you're going to go now that you're outside of this cage. It's not clear that you know what to do. You just know that something had to be done, and now it's a matter of implementing the next process of getting away from whatever this was that this King of Swords was sort of imposing upon you. So let's see what the Shadow deck has to say. Okay, so we're going to pull one card from this deck here, and that's going to be what is going on in your subconscious energy, the things that are hiding in the back of your mind. Perhaps the things you're worried about, or maybe some clarity about the things that you're seeking. We'll do one more shuffle. The Hermit. So yeah, I think after you leave this cage, the next thing is to reflect on what's going to be the next stage here. You're going to need to take some time to look inside yourself and figure out what it is that you want to do. This Two of Swords is very strongly to me representing the idea that although you have left the cage because you knew you had to, you don't really have a plan for where you're going to go next. And so the idea is in order to figure out what you need to do next, you're going to need to do some introspection and figure out what it is that you want. What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? What is going to be the next thing that you want to bring into your life? Because before you can figure out how you're going to do something, you need to know what it is that you actually want to do. So that's exciting. You know, it comes with it this great amount of like, you know, restless passion. And I think as long as you stick to the things that you care about, you will be victorious. But like, you gotta know what those things are. You can't be victorious if you don't know what you're trying to fight for. So what you don't see coming is the King of Wands. So the Princess of Wands is going to become the King of Wands, I think is what is being said here. Again, it's not anything about what the process is going to look like after you've left this situation, but this is the story of realizing that you've outgrown whatever situation you're currently in and you're ready for something new. It's scary. Whatever's out there, you don't know. So you need to take some time to really sit down and think about what the next step is. But what you don't see coming is, again, the King of Wands. It's taking this restless passion and this unrefined power and turning it into something that you can control and use as a tool to fuel. So again, all of that sort of anxiety that might come from leaving this very happy place that you were here in the middle. I mean, the Nine of Cups is like the happiest card in the deck next to maybe like the Sun or the Empress. So you're leaving something really pleasurable to face the unknown, and that's going to be scary. But through those trials, you'll be able to rise above being this princess and one day become this king. So that feels nice. So again, good luck with whatever the situation is for you. And if this didn't resonate, you can always check your other placements. But I hope you enjoyed this. Please like the video, subscribe if you haven't, share the video with anyone you think that might enjoy this, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.